This has been going on for a long time. T.I.'s been publicly in the situation with his son for a while. So I don't think that necessarily the brute force was the initial tactic. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I'm trying to be, again, open, have conversations as dialogue as men, and that don't work.
So things are heating up again between rapper T.I. and his son King, and it's getting messy. Not too long ago, T.I. nearly lost it on King for showing him disrespect in public, and now the tension is back in a big way. This time, King Harris is calling out his dad for not accepting his older girlfriend, and on top of that, not supporting the fact that he's about to become a father. Yeah, you heard that right.
King, have you ever woke up with a roach on your face?
No, that's not the goal.
All right, then. So there it goes.
Or in your ear.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I had some in the neighborhood with me that broke up with roach in your ear. Y'all want to go to the bando and man my neighborhood? Do y'all want to go to the bando? Do y'all want to go to the bando? To make him look better, he said it he know not true.
King Harris has a baby on the way, and people are definitely talking about it. Some are even side-eyeing the situation, saying getting involved with King right now is a bold move, especially with all the drama surrounding him. Meanwhile, T.I. isn't convinced at all that King is ready to step up and handle fatherhood. And there's a real concern that the responsibility for this baby might end up falling on T.I. and Tiny instead. If you've ever seen T.I. and Tiny's reality show or caught clips of King and T.I. together, then you already know their relationship is far from smooth. These two clash a lot, and the tension is hard to ignore. Now, with a baby coming into the picture while his parents clearly doubt his maturity, this situation is only adding more pressure, and it definitely isn't helping King win any points with his dad right now.
Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, I used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the
You
fight.
cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath
Every
and
day.
throw tantrums to go over there.
Neighborhood. I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside. That's why I want to be over there. But they don't understand that.
No, I'm going to tell you the reason why he want to be over there. Y'all ready?
I stayed quiet on this situation for a while, mostly because things between him and King have already been tense. But let's be real, when something doesn't sit right with him, he's not the type to stay silent forever. Once he finally spoke up, he didn't sugarcoat anything. He made it crystal clear that he doesn't believe King is ready to handle the responsibility of being a father just yet. And it's not just T.I. feeling some type of way about it. Tiny isn't exactly excited either, especially when it comes to the idea of having to step in and do more than they planned for their grandchild. Of course, a baby is always seen as a blessing, and that part isn't being ignored. But if you check what people are saying online, a lot of them are actually backing T.I. on this one, and they're not holding back with their opinions. Many are questioning why King, who just turned 20, is already stepping into fatherhood while still trying to figure out his own path, especially with his focus on becoming a rapper. To them, it just doesn't seem like the timing lines up, and that's exactly why this whole situation has people talking non-stop.
Cause he can suck pacifier over there, 12 years old. He was suck pacifier till he was 12 years old. He couldn't do that in the house.
You cried like a baby. Hold your breath.
Yeah.
They try to say I was over there trying to second pass it, but they ain't gonna tell you everything like that.
King has been trying hard to push this tough street image like he's coming from a background that just doesn't match his real life. It looks like he's doing it to give his music more credibility, but instead, a lot of people are calling it out as forced, immature, and not authentic at all. Everyone knows T. I came up in Bankhead and really lived that life, but King's story is completely different, and that contrast is hard to ignore. People literally watched King grow up in a comfortable environment, in a gated community with both parents making sure he had everything he needed. There was no struggle like the one he's trying to portray now, and that's why so many are questioning his actions. Instead of owning his real background, it seems like he's pushing himself into a role that doesn't fit, all while benefiting from the platform and opportunities his father built over the years. Things even got heated between him and T.I. at one point when his dad tried to check him and keep it real. T.I. straight up told him he wasn't raised in poverty or in the streets, calling out the image King was trying to sell. The moment turned awkward fast, especially when T.I. brought up how sheltered King's upbringing really was, even mentioning that he was still using a pacifier at an age that had people raising their eyebrows. But honestly, why are people even expecting a privileged kid like King to suddenly move humble and respectful? Let's keep it real for a second. After that heated clash with his dad, King didn't cool off at all. He jumped straight on Instagram and started going off, saying, quote, "I stand on business. I don't give a F who you are." And he kept pushing it, adding, "I don't care who you are, MFA can't play with me in my face. Not going for that. I'm a grown man now." End quote. The energy was loud, but to a lot of people, it just came off as reckless and way too emotional. And this is where it gets awkward. The way he carries himself has people shaking their heads because while he's talking tough, his real-life situation tells a completely different story. He acts like he came from nothing, like his family struggled in some rough environment when in reality, his upbringing was stable and well-supported. Even Tiny's mom, who he sometimes references, is doing just fine and helped make sure he experienced a grounded lifestyle despite all the fame around him. That's why people keep saying King doesn't truly understand what street life is really like. And honestly, that's not something to romanticize. It's not a life people should be chasing.
They trying to hide it.
Ain't nobody hiding it.
He capping. He capping. Hey. He know I stand on business. He know that. Ain't no nigga ever pull my car ever in life. I stand on business. You drop me somewhere, I stand on business. You drop me in your hood, I stand on business.
I don't feel like you stand on business.
Yeah, I've been stood on business. I've been stood on business. You want to hide it for the world, I'm going to put it out there for them to see.
But it seems like he's stuck trying to prove something, and many feel like he won't fully get it until reality hits in a serious way, which nobody wants to see happen. T.I. has already tried stepping in with tough love before, especially when King got into trouble as a teenager and faced serious consequences about 2 years ago, but clearly that lesson didn't fully stick. At this point, it looks like T.I. has stepped back and is letting King deal with the consequences of his own choices. Instead of constantly stepping in, he seems ready to let real life teach those hard lessons that words clearly haven't gotten through yet. While T.I. is waiting for his son to mature and figure things out, King flipped the whole situation and dropped a major surprise. There's a baby on the way. You already know that kind of news had to hit hard. Imagine being in the room when he told his dad. That moment must have been tense. Meanwhile, the woman he's expecting a child with has been catching attention online, showing off her lifestyle and looking confident while all eyes are on her. People have been quick to form opinions, with some even suggesting she's in a good position for the next 18 years, but that's just speculation flying around. As for who she actually is, details are still pretty unclear.
I wouldn't put up nowhere. You ain't had me put up nowhere. Like, you ain't had me behind a mansion. I was outside doing what I wanted to do. What?
You was behind.
No, ain't got too much to drink. Drunk too much. Drunk too much. Let's go. Get mad because we say the South ain't the suburbs. Then he want to talk about some other shit. Like this being sick.
She goes by Big Nana on Instagram, but beyond that, there's not much confirmed about her background, her age, or what she does day to day. Still, that hasn't stopped the internet from talking nonstop, throwing out assumptions and Tiffany in her comments. From the outside, it looks like she's unbothered by all the noise and just continuing to live her life while everyone else keeps watching closely. People online have definitely been talking, and the reactions are all over the place. Some are saying, quote, "She hit a payday. Get your money, girl." End quote. While others added, okay, she was standing on business with King on this one. End quote. But one thing is clear, T.I. is not feeling this situation at all, and he's not trying to hide it. At this stage, T.I. seems to understand there's only so much he can control, and he's coming to terms with the fact that he might have to step up more than he planned when it comes to this child. Still, that doesn't mean he's going to fake excitement or pretend everything is perfect. When King caught wind of T.Y.'s comments in an interview, things reportedly blew up again, with King confronting him for not being more supportive about the pregnancy and his relationship. But T.I. is standing firm. He's not about to act like he's fully on board when he genuinely believes King isn't ready to handle fatherhood the right way. And a lot of people online are echoing that same concern, not holding back at all with their opinions. Some comments have gone viral, like, quote,
Just being sick. No, I'm being real. You lying. You lying. You up here flagging. You're capping. You 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 capping. I know. I know you. You capping. I know you. I know you. I know you.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you.
Ain't no mystery about his
I know you though.
King Harris got someone pregnant last time I remember him. He couldn't spell tomorrow. End quote. And another one saying, "Baby, I'd rather be impregnated by that face hugger from Alien than to see that boy above me. Who in and Haw Lord." End quote. Now the whole situation is turning into a full-blown spectacle and everybody's watching to see what happens next. The pressure is on King from all sides. His family, the public, and even his own choices are catching up with him fast. Instead of slowing down and proving people wrong with actions, it looks like he's still focused on clapping back and defending his image online, which only keeps the drama going. At the same time, T.I. isn't backing down from his stance either. He's making it clear through his energy that being a father isn't just about saying the right things. It's about discipline, consistency, and actually being ready to put someone else first. And right now, he doesn't see that fully fully in King, which is why the tension between them keeps getting worse. Meanwhile, people online are still split, but a lot are starting to say the same thing. This situation is bigger than social media, bigger than pride, and definitely bigger than trying to look tough. At the end of the day, there's a child involved now, and that changes everything whether King is ready or not. And if he doesn't step up soon, reality is going to hit in a way that no one can ignore. And now all eyes are on what King is actually going to do next, not just what he says. Talking tough online is one thing, but stepping up in real life is a whole different story, and people are waiting to see if he can really handle that pressure. This isn't about image anymore. It's about responsibility, consistency, and making serious choices every single day. T.I., on the other hand, seems locked into his position. He's not here to argue back and forth forever. He's already said what he needed to say, and now it looks like he's watching from a distance to see if King finally gets it together. There's still that layer of concern though, because no matter how frustrated he is, that's still his son and now his grandchild involved. At the center of all this noise is the reality that a new life is coming into the picture, and that raises the stakes instantly.
I know you know. I know you know. I know you. What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all doing that to me? Y'all know me. You know I stand on business. You know I stand on business. Why you even letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting somebody play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? Why you letting him play with me like that? No, ain't no joking. Ain't no joking. What do you mean?
You are embarrassing yourself.
People can debate, joke, and throw opinions all day. But when that baby arrives, everything shifts for real. The question is whether King is going to rise to the moment or keep getting caught up in the same cycle that got everyone questioning him in the first place. And as this situation keeps unfolding, the spotlight isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Every move King makes is being watched, picked apart, and talked about like it's headline news, and that kind of attention can either push someone to level up or pull them deeper into chaos. Right now, it's still unclear which direction he's going to choose, and that uncertainty has people glued to the story. T.I. seems to be standing firm in his approach, letting actions speak louder than words at this point. He's already made his concerns clear, and now it's more about whether King is willing to prove him wrong instead of just arguing about it. Because at the end of the day, talking about being grown doesn't mean much if the actions don't line up with that energy. Meanwhile, the conversations online aren't slowing down either. Some people are hoping King steps up and turns things around, while others are expecting more drama to unfold. Either way, once that baby arrives, there won't be any room left for excuses, and all the talk is going to have to turn into real-life responsibility, whether he's ready for it or not. At this point, everything is building toward a moment that's going to define what happens next. All the talking, arguing, and online back and forth can only go so far before real life steps in and demands action. King is standing at a crossroads right now, and the choices he makes moving forward are going to shape not just his future, but his child's life too. T.I. isn't changing his stance either, and that's what makes this even more intense. He's already drawn a line and made it clear that he expects growth, not just words. There's no pretending, no sugarcoating, just a real expectation that King needs to step into a new level of maturity whether he feels ready or not. And with all the noise surrounding this situation, one thing is becoming louder than everything else: the reality of responsibility.
You're embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. You are embarrassing yourself. Man, what is she talking about?
Get off me, man, get off me.
Well, you can't do nothing with me. Ain't shit you can do with me.
When the cameras fade and the comments slow down, what's left is real life, real consequences, and real expectations. The big question hanging in the air now is simple. Will King rise to the occasion and prove everyone wrong, or will this situation spiral even further under the weight of all this pressure? Now everything is reaching a point where talk just isn't enough anymore. The situation has moved past opinions and online debates, and it's all about what actually happens next in real life. King can keep defending himself and pushing his image, but sooner or later, he's going to have to show real growth through his actions, not just his words. T.I., meanwhile, looks like he's fully stepping into that watch and see mode. He's said his piece, made his concerns clear, and now he's letting time reveal whether King is really ready to handle what's coming. That distance might seem cold to some, but to others, it's exactly the kind of tough stance needed when lessons aren't sinking in the easy way. And with everything building up, the pressure isn't fading. It's getting stronger. Family expectations, public attention, and now the responsibility of a child are all stacking up at once. There's no more room for confusion or pretending because once that baby arrives, it's all going to become very real, very fast, and impossible to ignore. And now it's all coming down to accountability in a serious way. All the noise, the opinions, the back and forth, it doesn't change the fact that real responsibilities are right around the corner. King is in a position where every decision matters more than ever, and people are watching to see if he's finally going to move different and step into this new role the right way.
Stop hitting me and getting in my comments, telling me what to tell King, okay? I know my son. Think I ain't spoke to my son? Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas? His ass going to prison. If you got to keep that shit up, his ass going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it.
T, I still isn't backing off his perspective either, and that consistency says a lot. He's not switching up just to keep the peace. He's standing on what he believes is right, even if it causes tension. To him, this isn't about winning an argument, it's about making sure his son understands what's really at stake before it's too late. Meanwhile, the outside chatter keeps growing, with people going back and forth about how this is all going to play out. Some think King might surprise everyone and rise to the occasion, while others aren't convinced at all. But one thing nobody can deny is this. Once that baby is here, everything changes instantly, and there's no pause button on real life. At this stage, the situation feels like it's reaching a turning point that nobody can ignore. All the tension, the opinions, and the back and forth energy have built up so much that something has to give sooner or later. King can't stay in that same cycle forever, especially with bigger responsibilities right in front of him now. I is still holding his ground, and that pressure isn't coming from a place of anger alone. It's about expectations. He wants to see real change, real effort, and real accountability, not just talk or quick reactions online. And until that shows up, that distance between them is probably going to stay exactly where it is. At the same time, people are still locked in, watching every move and trying to figure out how this is all going to play out. Some believe this could be the moment that forces King to mature and shift his mindset, while others think the drama might keep going. Either way, once reality fully sets in, there's no escaping the responsibility that comes with it, and that's when everything will truly be put to the test. Now, everything is lining up for a moment that's going to speak louder than anything said so far.
Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had the conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's going to turn out. You can.
Take a selfie with me?
No, go ahead. I'm in the middle of something, but go ahead. This is more important. Go ahead, come on.
Thank you.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
All the tension, the public reactions, and the family drama have been building non-stop, and it's clear this situation can't stay in limbo forever. King is stepping into a phase where talk won't carry him anymore. His actions are about to be front and center for everyone to see. I is still standing firm, not shifting his tone or lowering his expectations. He's made it clear that growth isn't optional, and he's not about to pretend everything is fine just to smooth things over. That kind of pressure might feel intense, but it's also a clear message. Step up or stay stuck, and right now, the choice is all on King. Meanwhile, the outside noise hasn't slowed down one bit. People are still debating, reacting, and throwing out predictions about how this will all play out. But when everything settles, the spotlight is going to shift from opinions to reality, and that's when the truth shows up for real. Whether King rises to meet that moment or struggles under it, one thing is certain, there's no avoiding what's coming next. And the internet is still going in, not holding back at all. One person even said, quote, "I don't know if I'm more worried about his parenting or which of his genetics he'd be passing down," end quote. And it didn't stop there. Some people even turned their attention to T.I., with one comment saying, "How do you spoil a child all his life? Don't discipline him, then criticize, chastises, and publicly shame him for the spoiled monster you created," end quote. The criticism is coming from every direction, and nobody seems to agree on who's really at fault here. The truth is, raising a child is no simple task at all. It takes time, effort, patience, and a lot of resources. From the very beginning, the responsibility is real, and it only grows as time goes on. But at the same time, some people are saying this could actually be the moment that changes everything for King. Maybe this is what forces him to slow down, refocus, and finally step into the kind of man his father has been expecting him to become. Now, the big question is, do you think King Harris is truly ready to be a father, or is this situation moving way too fast for him to handle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can join the conversation.